The real estate market is definitely shifting beneath the surface right here in the Reno-Sparks area. Prices are moving, inventory is ticking up, and we're seeing more sellers adjust than we have in years. The data tells a story you won't see in the headlines, and it will absolutely change the way you think about your next move. You don't want to miss this. Let's go.
Assist to sell way smarter.
Hello, and welcome back to the Reno-Sparks Real Estate Market Update Show, this time for November 2025. Now, a couple of things to mention before we dive in. Number one, this is for the Reno-Sparks area only, basically the greater metro area. It's for single family residential properties. Now, the goal of this data and this information in these videos is to give you what we would want if our roles were reversed. Meaning, if we're thinking about buying or selling a home, this is the information that we would want. In light of that, if you do me a favor, hit that like and subscribe button. It really does help us get this valuable information out to as many people as possible. So let's go ahead and dive in. Now, before we do, look at this data on your screen here, and you'll see it goes back roughly 10 years. Now, the data point we're going to talk about on most of these charts is right here in the yellow box. And over here, you will see the data as it compares to last year. Now, I know it says October of 2024. It's because the data that we're going to be showing you today is through the end of October of 2025. And you'll see the difference between the two right here. So the chart we always look at first is mortgage rates. Why? Because it has the biggest influence on the overall market. Almost 80% of people that purchase a home do so with the use of a mortgage. Therefore, it affects payments and demand and prices and so on. Right now, we're sitting at 6.3%, which is down slightly, 2.8% down from this time last year. We're at 6.4%. What I want to point out on this particular chart is you can see this sort of channel we have forming here, and it's been this way for almost 2 years now plus. Now, let's dive into the median sales price. Now, just to be clear on this is for all of Reno-Sparks. If I were to back the condos and townhomes out of this number would be higher. If I were to just do Reno, it'd be higher. If I were to do just Sparks, it might be a little bit lower. But this is just the overall market. 557,000, which is up just shy of 1% from this time last year. We were sitting at 552,110. Now you can see that same channel forming here. Prices haven't really gone anywhere. I mean, they've stayed in this channel right here, right around that 550 range for really the last 2 to 3 years. Now, how does this affect affordability? Well, you have mortgage rates and what it costs to borrow money versus what it costs to purchase a home. What you're looking at on the screen here is 55. That's basically a percentage. It's the percentage a median income earner could afford of the median priced home. It's roughly 55%. Now let's look into the actual market. New listings. These are the number of people that put their hand up in October of 2025 and said, yep, I'm ready to put my home on the market and sell it. 526, which is down 12.3% from this time last year, where we had 600. Now, this chart's a little different. It doesn't go by year, doesn't go back 10 years. It goes by price range. We like to see what individual price ranges are doing. So it breaks it down from 1 to 2, 2 to 300,000, 3 to 400,000, 4 to 500,000, and so on. And on the left side of the screen, you'll see over here the number of homes. Now, most of the new listings are coming on the market between that 4 to 5, 5 to 6, and 6 to 750 range. Let's look at active. Now, you might be saying, what's the difference between new and active? Well, new is just the ones that came on the market in October. The active is the total number of homes on the market that could have been, put up for sale back in September or August or July. It's just the total number. So if you're thinking about selling a home, this is your direct competition. This is a number of people that are trying to sell just like you. If you're thinking about buying a home, these are the homes that you could go look at and potentially purchase today. 1,307. Which is down 6% from this time last year where we had 1,390. Now, this is where it gets interesting. If you break down the active inventory by price, you can see the majority of the inventory is right here in that same price range, 4 to 5, 5 to 6, 6 to 7, and so on. I want to point out this upper end price range. Just make note of that, and we'll come back to it later. $1 million to $1.5 million, $1.5 million plus. There's some interesting stats coming up. Now let's look at closed. It could be sold instead of closed. Same thing. Just homes that closed escrow and transferred ownership in the month of October. 494, which is up 0.4%, basically flat from this time last year. We had 492. Now this is the chart that I want to point out, and the one I want you to compare to the one I showed you earlier, and that is closed sales by price range. Pretty normal up in the standard range of 4 to 5, 5 to 6, 6 to 7. But then you see a significant drop off in this upper end price range, 750 to $1 million, $1 million to $1.5 million, and $1.5 million plus. Now, if I compare that to the total active by price, you can see significantly more actives than we have solds. Right here, you have like 110 that are $1 million to $1.5 million, $1.5 million plus. We have, 100 and probably 60-ish. If you look at 750 to $1 million, you're looking at about just shy of, actually just over 200, about 200 and maybe 10, 15. Now, if I go back over here to close by price, you can see that's those same price ranges, only 50 sales, only roughly 30 sales, maybe just over 30 and right at 30 sales. So a significant difference. When you see a difference in the number of homes for sale and the number that are closing on a monthly basis, as that gap widens, you start to see the market in that particular price range soften up. Now let's look at overall supply. There's a few charts I look at as kind of canary in the coal mine type charts that give me an indication on where the overall market is headed. The first one was the affordability index. As homes become less and less affordable, it tends to slow down. You start to see usually a softening market with prices and volume. The same is true with supply. As you get more and more supply, there's more and more competition for sellers. They have to get more aggressive potentially with pricing. Right now we're sitting at 2.6 months of inventory. And all this means is if, let's say you had 1,500 homes on the market, you sold 500 per month on average, you'd have roughly 3 months of standing inventory. If we start to see this number continually creep up, I would expect the market to slow down potentially further. Now this is where the chart gets real interesting. If you look at inventory by price, remember those price ranges we talked about before? You're starting to see some of these creep up past 5 months, well over 3, close to 4, just over 4 months, and so on. Now, this is unsold. This is one of those, another canary in the coal mine chart that I like to keep an eye on to see what's happening. Now, these are the homes that didn't sell for one reason or another. 160, which is up 18.5% from this time last year, where there's only 135. Now, you may not think 160 is a lot. It's really not a ton of homes, but it's well over 10% of the active inventory that's not selling, or didn't sell, I should say, in October. This is where it gets real interesting again. Pretty standard stuff, except for this price range here, the 6 to 750 range right in here. Now, again, not a lot. We're looking at about 30, 33 or 34 or whatever listings. So not a ton, but significantly higher than a lot of the other price ranges. And I find it interesting because that's where most of your new home construction is as well, between the 6 and 750 range. We'll go ahead and wrap it up there. Okay, so what does all of this mean? I kind of alluded to it, but if you're thinking of selling a home or maybe your home is on the market, really pay close attention to the marketplace. We're going into a slow time of the year. Usually October, November, December gets slower in terms of buyer activity. You really want to make sure you're priced correctly. On the other side of the equation, buying. A lot of people say, Ryan, when's the best time to buy? There is no perfect time to buy, but I always say, look, a lot of people aren't buying this time of year. You don't have a ton of competition. There tends to be a pretty good amount of inventory on the market. So if you're looking, you can go out there, keep an eye out for new construction, resale homes, and so on. There's some great values to be had. But if you're thinking about selling your home, you owe it to yourself to check out Assist to Sell. We'll sell your home for only $49.95, and if it's over $500,000, it's only 1%. So we do absolutely everything you've come to expect from a professional, expert real estate agent. From showing the house, put it in MLS, we do all the paperwork, we show it, do absolutely everything. It's a full-service marketing program. Click that Find Out Now button. We'll give you an automated value report, and we'll follow it up with even more information. And we'll make sure you have the best possible information for your specific home. And with that, I wish you the very best in November. I look forward to seeing you next time right here on the Reno-Sparks Real Estate Market Update Show. Bye-bye.
Assist to sell way smarter.